IJDM here with you, and today, well, depending on what day you're watching this, we're going back to the Roku, however you want to say it. It doesn't really matter. It's it's a good TV, but I have issues with it, and maybe I'll get into that a little bit later. But especially with the updates and older panels like this. But I just wanted to kind of cover this a little bit more because I did do something on the live TV with it recently on this channel, and I'll include a link at the end of the video like I normally do on good God, what is going on this local channel? Somebody's getting a shave, I guess. But on the that you can hook up an antenna, and if you have the ability to run cable through your house or whatever, you can actually have all your channel. I mean, in our area, we live in a large metro area. Most people think of Tampa as like a small city. It's actually a very large city compared to most of it. And we got like 6 million people here in the Tampa Bay metro area, which includes Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, and surrounding areas of Brandon. I mean, even Lakeland, I think, is now included. But we get a mess of stations, and a lot of them are repeaters. So that's why I say I'm going to say safely maybe 80 stations, maybe 70 stations, and you get a few repeats in there. But yeah, great choice if you like, home improvement, swamp people. I mean, there's a great mix of stuff. The commercials obviously are annoying, but that's one of those things that if you just, I mainly, like I say, use it for news and use it for sports and events going on, which is why I had it. I just got sick of the whole mess with the whole craziness of having my local channels paying for it through the cable, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. But they do include, as you can see on the screen, they do include, as I showed on my other video, they include a mess of other channels. It's building. It's not quite what I could say with Pluto, with the other app, which I'll cover in a minute, but it's got a decent thing of movies and maybe ones you've never seen before, and I've watched a few, and they repeat kind of a lot, but it's my understanding they usually refresh it once a month, so it's really not any different than cable. Because what I've noticed, and I want to make this point now, on cable stations and cable companies, that if I compare it with the Spectrum app, which I have limited access via one of my relatives, it's the same stuff on either one, and same commercials, same crapola, if you will, on either one. And it's just like, okay, well, it is what it is. But I just wanted to show the live TV option again, and that the fact that you can just tune into anything, you just want to channel surf. And one thing cool with this app, and I'm not sure if I showed it on earlier thing, is you can actually, with the remote and using the arrows, you can actually flip through like a regular remote, and like you used to do, like you can channel surf and just say, this is kind of interesting, I want to watch this for a little bit until the commercials start playing for 5-10 minutes on end, which is whether you have cable, antenna, or satellite, or get it through the internet or whatever. It's like, it seems like there's a never-ending thing of that, unless you're streaming it directly through like a Hulu service, Netflix, Amazon. Take your pick. It's just one of those things now. So what I have on my TV, I pay for Prime, and very happy with it. And I have a few movies that I've purchased and done that. It's a good app to have. And I'm just going to cover kind of some of the apps I have on my monitors. And the thing is, with these TVs, you sign up for an account, and then they'll appear on the TV. My major gripe is, after all these years and all these versions, and I think it's up to version 10.5, why isn't it you can't just set it so that, like, you have a certain order to them, and that's where you want them on all your TVs? I don't get that. Like, I don't want my TV in my living room being different from the one in my bedroom, which I'm showing right now, because it's a little quieter in here. The birds are out and doing their thing right now. But basic, easy understanding of all this stuff is you got Prime Video. And I could go into every one of these apps, and, well, heck, well, I didn't say this was going to be a quick take like I usually do. So we'll see where this goes. And if you have an older TV, obviously it's going to be slower. This TV is probably now 2 years old. And then I get these weird things now with the last software update, but they tend to disappear after a second or two, or I can hit the back button and make them disappear. But I have a choice of stuff that, Heat of the Night or Star Trek or Eureka or Grand Tour. Some of the shows, Goliath, if you ever check that out, it's a very cool show with Billy Bob Thornton. I mean, in different movies, and and some of the stuff obviously is available, but you have to pay for it, and you just got to look for. The trick is, people, if you have a Prime account, you got to look for that little Prime banner on the corner. So that's how you get it for free if you have a Prime account, and that's how you get your free TV shows, movies, whatever. But I have no complaints about this app whatsoever. It works perfectly. It's just sometimes it's a little convoluting on when ads start playing in the middle of the thing, because it'll give it to you, but the Prime sticker wasn't there, and sometimes it feels like it's not set up. Netflix is Netflix. I mean, you got your Stranger Things. You got, everybody knows about Netflix. And everybody knows about family sharing. So that's how I work this to save a little bit of money. Is on Netflix. I have it through a friend of the family, and I have a little account on my own, or whatever they call it, login on my own, that I use, and that's how I get that. Same with Hulu, and some of my shows I watch on there, which I'm not going to go into every one of these apps. YouTube obviously is conjecture of certain things happening with arguments, but I think they're going to remain on there. It'd be stupid for YouTube to pull it off, because that's what happened with one of the other services, which I'll get to in a minute. Tubi is a great one to have. First of all, it's free, and it's amazing. And I don't like saying much about ad blockers, but if you can hook up and mirror to your TV and maybe have an ad blocker, maybe on Tubi you don't have to watch the ads on some of the stuff that can run. That's my issue now. It's like, you companies are getting, like, for the free stuff, you're getting too greedy now. It initially started, you had maybe an ad or two. Now it's up to 5. And lately, even on Tubi, I've seen upwards of, and some of these, and I'm not going to name one off of the other, but some of these where you get the free programs, I'm sorry, 6 ads is unacceptable. 5 ads is unacceptable. 2 or 3 ads is fine, especially if it's an older series. That's just being greedy and just being ridiculous. Let's get that out of the way right now. There, got my gripe out of the way on that. Number 1 gripe. But then we got Roku, which is actually Twitch. It kind of works on this TV. Just sometimes I like checking out different things on there that I actually have a weather channel that airs on there that most of you viewers may be aware of. Plex is basically my server for the house. I'm not really happy with some of the stuff they've been doing with this lately. I gotta be totally honest. It's just like, what is this boot up time, and do I really need this animation? Do I really need to wait for this animation now? I used to hit the button and it would pop up. Now I gotta wait for an animation, and then I have to go and customize my menu because they change them and think that, and yeah, I got some weird stuff on here. I collect weird movies, and I mean, if you take an example on a few of these, that you may be like, hey man, I want to check this out. But yeah, Returning the Living Dead, that is one of the greatest movies in my book of 80s, just pure nostalgia there. House 2 is another one. It's good fun having these on my server, and ones I've collected over the years and downloaded and so forth. So let's just get out of that Plex app and continue on, because we're not really going through the apps themselves, just kind of what I have. Vudu is great for rentals. They also work in conjunction with, if you have the movies and TV link here, it's the same thing. I just like having the app instead, and I don't like having, I like a clean look. I don't like too much garbage when I'm on my personal TV. I just want to see all my menus and what I like to watch. Another handy one to have is Nowhere Archive. I don't know if it's still available, or if you have to go through the weird crapola of trying to download it, but it is kind of cool to watch older stuff. And sometimes you see that screen, it's usually sometimes because you haven't used it in a while, it actually offloads it off the TV, especially the older ones, to save space for the newer apps, which have gotten huge. And yeah, you can, I won't get into this too much because no archive is pulled from archive.org, and there's a lot of stuff that's questionable on copyrights, but you can check out movies and stuff, and it is actually, this is mostly the old interface for Roku TVs that you can check out different older movies and maybe lesser known ones that you can't find anywhere else. They're on here. I mean, you just got to search for them and figure out the way to do it. It's hard to find some of them, but anyhow, let's move on. Got my music stuff there. Let's not go into that. I mean, Dash is nice because it was originally part of the Pluto platform with music, videos, and stuff like that. They separated off, and it's nice to have that app because if you just want to have music on your TV, Spotify, everybody knows what that is. And thankfully, they finally added that back. That was missing for a while. TuneIn is a good one because you can tune in stations from all over. It's similar to like the iHeart app, but may have a few that you don't know about and podcasts, which is nice to have. Moving on, I kind of go into my live TV cluster. I kind of have these separated in little groups, but Pluto is what really the one that comes with the TV should be. There is just so many channels on here and so much things to watch and the on-demand and everything. It's just, but the app is flippin' clunky. It's like, even on my newest TV, it's like hitting the button. It's like, and I'm gonna try to get this in the remote. I'm like, I'm gonna hit the menu now to go to the menu to change to another channel. I just hit the button. Okay, that is not acceptable. On any level of any TV, that is not acceptable. And when I'm scrolling through, it's almost like I hit the button. It's like a 1 second delay. It's like, there's no reason for that. I mean, yes, this remote I'm using is actually not the IR one. It's the, but even with the IR one I have, it's still like, and then this guide is just, I mean, it's horrid. I don't know why they changed it and made it the way it is. But overall, Pluto is a great app, and I have been with it for probably 4 or 5 years. But I mean, the amazing channels and old shows, if you're into any of those old 80s shows, and I don't think you can even skip anymore. Let me try the button that used to be able to jump you way forward. But you go through your news stations and your reality shows and, well, so-called reality. And then keep pushing on that eventually. I mean, if you like some of the old shows like Wings, and I mean, it's just a ton of selection on here. And you find a movie you want to watch or series, is actually most of the stuff is available on demand, which is a tricky thing to get to up here. But excuse the middle finger. But if you like Happy Days, Three's Company, Love Boat, I mean, it's all here. And you don't have to pay a flipping dime for it. You just need to have some type of internet, and you can watch all these shows. If you're a Matlock fan, there you go. Mission Impossible, I mean, it's all there. Gunsmoke, I mean, great. Just like Pluto, if you watch this video, clean up this, fix this mess. It's like, it's too much. You don't need all this. It's like, we don't need a entourage of craziness. Make it a simple menu. And I'll go back to that in a minute and illustrate a little bit better, but I'm kind of all over the place on this one because as you know, I don't script stuff. I do have the Spectrum app because we are in a Spectrum charter market, so I'm not going to get into it, but I am able to pull a few shows from there using my sister's account that lives in another state, but nice to have. Okay, Roku channel is basically your companion channel to your live TV app, where it doesn't show your local channels on the TV, which is really weird, but it does give you access to the satellite ones I scrolled through earlier, and gives you some on-demand stuff, which is rather nice. And again, plays the same annoying 5 commercials every time there's a commercial break. And if I hear one more commercial about the anti-diarrhea stuff, I probably gonna have to run to the toilet. I don't know what else to say about that. Okay, here's the key, people. Here's where we go. I did not have live TV, but I still wanted to watch my games. But using logins from my sister's account, I was able to get Fox, CBS, and watch the programs actually live in my area, not her area, because she lives in a different part of the United States. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people like, well, don't give this away. They're going to fix this. They're going to fix it eventually. So don't count on this. I was just showing that for the interim, if you're missing your Lowcast that you may have used on any of your smart TVs, then yeah, there is a way to kind of get around it. It's a pain in the ass because you got to go into 3 or 4 different apps for each network, but they do give you a little bit of a kind of a menu, which as you can see, it is terrible with loading. It's just maybe it's my internet or router, who knows. I have all kinds of issues when I do these videos sometimes, but it's basically like the same one I showed you earlier. And I just put the 6 channels in there that I would normally check out. I don't really actually watch Weather Channel anymore. I just keep it on there if we get bad weather here in the Tampa Bay area. But this one is pretty much the epitome of where all the other ones should be going, like Pluto, and be able to flip through, and then you pull the menu. I mean, I'm hitting this button, and it's like, bam, it's there. It's just the selection's a little lacking compared to like Pluto. It's, but I mean, if you got kids, there's plenty of, I mean, I don't understand kids' cartoons anymore. I grew up and they have Transformers and G.I. Joe. I don't understand DJ Baby and oh God, Teletubby. Well, all right. Well, and anyhow, it's there is movies you can watch, and hey, it's just something else you can have, and having your local channels there and the same thing. It's kind of a nice thing that, like, I want to catch the football game on my Fox channel tonight, that I can flip through and get that. Or if I'm a Dancing with the Stars fan or whatever, and I am pulling this in through antenna. And again, I live in a larger area. If you live in a mountain area or whatever, there's issues with that, but just a solution for a few people, and just some ideas that I had, and just kind of giving you an overview of like how I'm operating now, being partially unplugged. Let's say I'm not fully unplugged, because I still rely on certain channels, regional and local TV, but I still like the idea that I have many options to watch from, including my own personal collection on Plex, which is a server, which, if there is interest in this video and say, I want to know more about this Plex server thing, we can go into that too. But there's a ton of YouTube videos on how that works. But honestly, I really don't know if I want to go into it, because it's become a thing where the app is getting so heavy loaded that it takes so much time to boot up the app that it's just ridiculous. And I mean, it's one of those things. As far as the TV itself, covering the last thing that I had my thought on is, here's the issue. And if you notice, when I'm going in and out of apps, the TV actually dims. Is TCL? I don't know if it's TCL. I don't know if it's Roku. I don't know who it is, but like, whoever's deciding on why this needs to be so bright. And like, when I set my TV picture, I like it dark in my bedroom at night. And if I wake up in the middle of the night and want to watch a little TV, and my significant other is sleeping, I don't want to wake them with a bright beacon of light and landing airplanes in my bedroom. I want to be able to watch my TV and turn it on and not have that, like, why is it so bright in here? I want to be able to. And I don't understand what they change in these TVs, or what if there's a software issue. I've seen multiple complaints, but no way to fix it. That's my number one thing. Is like, these menus, when you set the brightness, and you can, but it's still not set to the brightness you would think it is. Like in the backlight and certain things in the TV, it's hard to explain in layman's terms. But even though this TV brightness is at normal right now, even on darker, in a room that has no lights on, it's still extremely bright. And makers of these icons, like, this white needs to go away. There's just so much I could get into on nuances on this. The other issue I have with these TVs, obviously, was the slowness, because they keep updating the software. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy a new TCL, whatever, Hisense, whatever you choose. I mean, Toshiba, I think, makes them now. There's like 5 or 6 different brands that make these TVs with this built in. And it's nice because it's all in one nice unified remote that you can, if you want to spend a little bit extra money, you can actually have the remote that works, I think it's via Bluetooth. Not really sure. Battery life is not great. You can actually get an advanced remote like this one I'm holding right now, where you actually have a headphone port if you don't want to bother whoever's sleeping next to you. But this is kind of a neat thing of technology that, yeah, there's issues here. There's certain things I'm not really sure. It does have AirPlay, which AirPlay 2, which only works with newer Apple devices, and it does have a version of Miracast if you're an Android or a Windows user that has a newer phone or computer on that realm. But I could get into a few issues I have with these TVs, namely the stands. But anyhow, that is my video for tonight, and I am planning on a good retro video where we're going to test some old DOS. Like, what is really the best DOS? If you like these old games, the best DOS like laptop. It's been covered multiple times, but I think I'm going to cover this in a different way and compare 4 different laptops and say which one is the one you buy. Maybe I'll answer the question, maybe not. But for now, that is it for IJDM. We'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.